Well, that seal there was a little more stubborn than most I've done, but it's in there. Now you can tell as I go around just tapping, and I'm not beating on it because I don't want to smash it or dent it or deform it anyway. Just, but hear that? Sounds like a bell all the way around. You know you've got your seal in all the way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this big C-clamp and we're going to attach it to the caliper like that, so that the screw side is in the plunger of the caliper. The back side of the C-clamp is on the back side of the caliper. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn this screw down so it meets the back side of the plunger. I'm going to hold on to it so it doesn't fall. Of course, I'm doing this all with one hand. You'll probably have two hands or more. Okay, once I get it snugged up back there, I'm just slowly going to tighten it. What that's going to do is it's going to collapse that caliper, that hydraulic plunger, and bow all the way back into the caliper. You want to go slowly because as your brake pads wear, they're going to get thinner and thinner. All right, and that means the fluid in your reservoir for your brakes up under the hood's getting lower and lower. All right. Now, if you've topped that fluid off, you're going to need to take some of that fluid back out when you collapse these. If not, if the reservoir's down low, when you compress this, that fluid's going to rise back up in the reservoir. Okay. You don't want it to go too quick because you don't want to damage any valves or anything that's proportioning valves in your master cylinder up in under the hood. So just slowly, you'll feel it. Doesn't take much pressure until it goes down. And just lightly there, and it just stopped right there. I'm not going to go anymore. That's all. It's flush. All right, because as those old pads have worn down, they're thinner. That plunger, that hydraulic cylinder, sticks out. So when you go to put your new brake shoes on, the caliper won't go on because that hydraulic cylinder has not been compressed back all the way. When it's compressed back all the way, you can put your brand new shoes on. If you're using your old shoes, if they're in good shape, then you don't have to do this. You collapsed it a little bit when you took it off. That should be fine. It should go right back on again. Okay, so now we take the C-clamp off. We're done with it. Alright. Now we'll set it off to the side. Okay. Now our new brake shoes. Now your brake shoes are going to come, they're new. On the back side is metal plates. One of these is the back shoe, one of these is the front shoe. Actually, it's called a pad, technically. Brake pads. This one here with the spring on the clip on the front, okay, that's the outside shoe. Okay, the other one that has nothing on the back, the metal plate, it's the inside shoe. Okay, now this comes with a little packet of lubricant that you're supposed to put on the back of those shoes. And what I do is I look at the old ones and see, you see there where that round circle, that's where the hydraulic plunger there on the caliper pushes against that shoe. So that's the area. We don't need to cover the whole shoe. Just that area where that plunger is going to make contact with that pad. So we'll squirt a little of that on there. Not much. And we'll take our finger and we'll kind of put a small layer of that around there where that plunger is going to make contact. And that's going to help that squeaking, squealing when you press on your brakes. It's going to help take care of that. Okay. And our other pad, we look at it and we can see where the wear spots are under these clips. Those shiny areas. Those are the areas we want to coat with grease. So we're going to put a dab there. Put a dab over here. Okay, and then we'll take our finger and get that around where it needs to be. We'll try to move this along so it's not so boring. Okay. Now we take our inner pad, and you notice the radius. Let's see if I can get a picture of that. There's kind of a rounded edge on that, on this side here. Well, that's going to go to the outside, the same curve as your rotor. And it drops down in this little clip in here. That little metal clip drops down in there. Okay. Back to the outside. All right. And then we're going to put our rotor on. Be careful not to damage that seal. Just push it on there, nice and snug. Kind of hold it there with your knee. And now in my little parts bucket here, I've got the parts stacked in that dust cover in the order that they go on. Making sure there's no dirt on my fingertips. I'll grab that bearing out of there. Okay. Take my bearing and put a little more grease around it. It's got a nice thick layer of grease all the way around that bearing. Okay. And we're going to take that bearing and put it in there. Okay, now it's sitting there. Okay, the bearing's in. Now we're going to take our nut and our washer. This washer's got 2 flat spots in there, so it'll only go on over the flat spot of the spindle. Then we're going to put the nut on. Okay, clean my hands off a little bit here. Open up my water pump pliers. Now we're just going to snug this nut up. Just snug, that's all. Okay. Now we're going to take our other brake pad, same thing with the curve going to the outside, and careful not to get any grease or anything on the pads itself. Okay. We'll stick it in there.